So welcome to Freedom International with the Freedom Broadcasters. The podcasters that we have is Grace Assange with Quantum Nurse. We've got Steve Ferrero with Awakened Mind. We've got Chris Ryan with Mind Wars. And I'm Roycoughlan of the Awakening Podcast. And today, our guest, who I've had on my show, is known as Flat Earth Dave Weiss. What I would like to say is, when I interviewed him, I actually mentioned that I never believed in the flat earth, but because of all the corruption going on at the moment, I was open to a conversation. During the conversation, he said, I thought you weren't a flat earther because there was so many different things that I mentioned. I downloaded his app because basically I thought it was a fascinating app. And I've been watching hours and hours and hours of content. So Dave, you've wasted probably 40 to 80 hours, but it's something that now I can actually say that I do believe that the earth is flat because of a lot of things that we discussed. And I know that you'll have plenty of questions, but please welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. And 40 to 80 hours of research. We call you an infant flat earther because you haven't even started to absorb content yet. So welcome. And let me tell you something. I have not wasted your time. Has your life ever been more interesting than this? Has your mind been more on fire since you've been learning this stuff? Have as you're learning this new stuff, your mind is opening up to this world. And jumping way forward is everything you guys have in your life is because of the way that you think. They've got us in fear, which shortens your mind. They have us in a globe, which is a prison. You're opening your mind, you're opening up your thought field, and you are attracting more into your life. So your life has just begun.
Oh, definitely. So what I'd like to discuss is we've seen recently Branson going off to space, so-called space, and Bezos with his penis ship. So just, I mean, like what I've noticed is on Branson's ship, like you had the so-called pilot with all the masks and everything. They were in the background with nothing. So,
yeah. So all they did was a parabolic flight, and not even in that ship. You know what the zero-G plane is, right? It goes up, it does a parabolic arc, and everybody in it floats around. This is the zero-G plane. You can spend $5,000 and go up there and get 5 or 10 parabolic arcs for 45 seconds of weightlessness. And a lot of people do it, but these are people they're now just about to go weightless, and that's all they did. They designed it to look like Branson's ship or Bezos's rocket, and that's all they did. They said he got 4.5 minutes of weightlessness, of continuous weightlessness in the edge of outer space. Where's that video? They only show you 5-second clips. Cut. It's a whole bunch of parabolic arcs. And if you look at Branson, he's about to throw up because that's very hard for your system to be in free fall like that. And in your vestibular system, you know, people can't survive in space like the people on the space station, just, going around doing their little tricks with water and flipping things around. So that's all they did. We exposed it so much that their high priest of scientism, Neil deGrasse Tyson, came out and said, yeah, they didn't really go to space. They just, went up, and he admitted it. He had to backstep. He had to move the goalpost, as we say. And that's all that was. So it's literally a stupid trick. And they always have the girl with the long hair flipping her hair around. It's just nonsense. This is both done on the zero-G plane. This one looks like the space station, and this one's just an empty tube. So they can make it look like anything they want. They can make green screens. They could actually outfit it to look like whatever you want. And so, when they show us stuff from the space station, it's done in a zero-G plane. What I'm showing you right here real quick is this was live on television, and during the interview, all of a sudden they all slammed into the wall. They cut away. What happened was the parabolic arc went bad, and they ran out of time, and the astronauts fell to the wall because they were filming sideways. This is the end of a parabolic arc, and I turned that video sideways. It's the same thing. Okay. They said it was a catastrophic shift of the space station or the shuttle, whatever they were in. And that doesn't happen. This is just the end of a parabolic arc. Never, ever, ever will you see uncut footage. Now, there are like 3 or 4 tours of the space station, but if you analyze it, cut, all green screens, all nonsense. And the way they do it is when you look at I got to get that. That's a video I don't have here. When they go down one tube and up another and across another, and they're like, oh, how can they do that? They're really just floating in one place. And when they grab something to pull it, they're not moving. They're moving the whole green screen space station through their position, but you can't tell. It looks like they're moving. It's so simple to do. Green screen technology is so far above what, they show us what green screens can do, but it's even beyond that. So I hope that explained that. I kind of went off
and even kind of on that, because just from the discussion that I had with you, we're on about like the CGI, and since you mentioned it, I started looking out for it. And it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, right?
Everywhere. Once you spot it, you're going, what? And I believed all this stuff before.
Yeah. Listen, I believed it all too. People like, you flat earthers, you'll never change your mind no matter what we show you. No, we already changed our mind. Lifelong of indoctrination. Then we looked. Then we had the courage to say, I was wrong. I was duped. I was lied to. Nobody likes admitting that. And then we look, and here's the thing. There's two schools of thought here. One, NASA is just a bunch of idiots and they really suck at what they do. Or two, they're purposely sticking it in our face as kind of like an intelligence test. I think I lean towards the second. It's called revelation of the method, where they always tell us what they're doing. Excuse me. And they make it easy for anybody that has a thinking mind. The problem is people don't have thinking minds anymore. They're fluoridated. They're indoctrinated with the schooling system. They bring us all together and they indoctrinate us with memorization and regurgitation. If you have a thought that's outside of the textbook in school, what do you do with it? You can't do anything with it.
And what about, like, what I found strange as well is you see Obama a few times and also Bush mocking the flat earthers. Why would a president do that?
Well, the reason they do that, it's called controlled opposition and predictive programming. They want you, if you're going to search flat earth, they want you searching the Flat Earth Society, because if you search the Flat Earth Society, or even if you search flat earth, it brings you to the Flat Earth Society. Obama plugged the Flat Earth Society, I don't know, half a dozen times during his presidency in major speeches. He said, we don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. Well, Flat Earth Society. That's what Google will serve you. This is not flat earth. If I thought flat earth was this, you guys should laugh at me, okay? Because this is nonsense. No flat earther thinks that. No flat earther thinks that we're a disk in space with a bunch of other flat or round planets. That's not what flat earth is. But if you go Google flat earth and you watch, 10 minutes or 2 hours worth of stuff, you're going to laugh at flat earth and you're never going to look again, because that's what they serve you. They don't serve you my videos, Eric DeBay's videos, Mark Sargent's videos, Jaronism videos. They don't serve you any of that. And that's what I created the app for, because the app bypasses their algorithms. That app is never going to run out of content for you. Are you watching the daily video every day? That's all you have to do, is watch the daily video every day. One video a day when you're having your breakfast. Watch the video. And then your mind will be more active. Like if you get up every day and you're like, oh, he's going to go to work. It's just the same dumb jump. Your mind goes into a low state, not active. But you watch something stimulating at the beginning of the day, your mind's going to work all day to sort that stuff out. It's going to come up with new ideas. It's going to think. It's going to extend its reach. And your life's just going to get better. Besides the ridicule by your family and friends and being segregated from, all of the normies out there. But once you get used to that, you make new friends.
Well, what I've noticed is when I was telling people that I was going to have you on before, like they were all kind of laughing and everything. And there's a lot of people that have basically they're like, I don't really know what to believe after seeing the interview.
Good. That's all. And listen, anybody that's new to this and it's like, you know what? Dave made a lot of good points. Great. Don't believe me. Don't believe me. You got to go out and verify this stuff yourself. And here's the thing. There's lots of things that you can't verify. There's lots of things that work kind of flat earth and work on a globe earth. So they don't prove either. There's lots of things that kind of only work on a flat earth. We can see too far. Okay. We can see way too far and we can prove it. And it doesn't work on a ball. Like the radius, the line from the center of the earth to the surface. If this was the radius, right, you move that radius around, that's the curve of the earth. So our radius is just short of 4,000 miles. That's what they tell us. Okay, 4,000 miles, right? So that has a curvature formula. You do their math and say, all right, somebody at 1 foot off the ground should see the edge of the flat water like 1.22 miles away or something like that, less than 2 miles away. Well, you can look, we can zoom out dozens of miles. We can see things super far, way beyond what they say. And not even using infrared now, some of the distances that we see, you would need a radius, not of 4,000 miles, of over 250,000 miles to see what we're seeing, to have enough, less curvature because of a bigger ball. 250,000 miles wrong from 4,000. Okay. If the Earth radius was 250,000 miles, we still have a problem. Okay. Because it's, even if it was a ball, it's way, 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 way bigger than they're telling us. Just for just real quick, for the new people, what is the flat Earth if it's not a disk floating in space? We're in what I call the Earth pond. Everything we see in the sky is within the Earth system. Okay. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat. The Earth is 70% water. I believe it's more, but let's just go with what they tell us. 70% water. And it lays flat, scientifically, testably, provably, measurably flat. So what holds in our water? Water needs a container. If you're going to take a tub, you're going to take a bath, and I snap my fingers and the bath disappeared, well, you're not taking a bath. If you're going to go swimming in a lake and the side of the lake disappeared, you're not going to go swimming in that lake. Antarctica is not a continent at the bottom of a ball, like they tell us. It's not a continent at the bottom of the ball. Antarctica is the land that surrounds our world pond. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Go look it up. It's the highest elevation on average Earth. So Antarctica is the shoreline of our world pond that holds in our world. It's not the edge of the world. So the first question you're going to have is, what's out here in this outer space? What's out here? Outer space. Isn't that interesting? Okay. There is outer space. So this would be inner space. This would be outer space. Here's a map of a Japanese map, 10 centuries old, showing like 30 some odd continents out here. I never counted it. You should probably count them one day. What's up with that? Okay. Right. What if the world was set up like this, where there was different suns, a different sun out here and another sun out here, right? And they circle around, and we live here. Somebody here on this extra territory would be an extraterrestrial. And if they came to visit us, they'd be an extraterrestrial from outer space. They're not light years away, which is nonsense. Light years are nonsense. We're going to talk about light year in a second. Blow your mind. And they're from tens of thousands of miles away. I don't even say more than tens of thousands. Maybe a couple, 5,000, whatever it is, 10,000. That's what's out there. I believe that there are people out here, that there's civilizations out here, and they probably speak English. So let's just quickly talk about an extraterrestrial from outer space, the cosmos, which they tell us about. This is crazy, right? The closest star, excluding our sun, right? They tell us that's a star also, is 4.5 light years away. That's 25 trillion miles away. All right, 25 trillion miles away. So Craig, you look like you're focusing here. If you were traveling, this is simple math, don't let it stump you. If you're traveling a mile per second, how many miles will you go in 1 trillion seconds? 1 per second, 1 trillion seconds. How many miles have you gone? You're muted. One trillion miles. Very simple. A mile per second. If you went for 10 seconds, you went 10 miles, right? Mm-hmm. If you went for 1 trillion seconds, you went 1 trillion miles. Okay. So have any of you traveled a mile per second? It's very fast. It's like, what is it? 3,600 miles an hour, right? It's faster than our fastest planes go. So if you were traveling towards Alpha Centauri, the closest star, for 1 trillion seconds, you're 1/25th of the way there, because it's 25 trillion miles, right? It's just simple. Do you know how long 1 trillion seconds is? Anybody? Does anyone know it? Does anyone listen to my shows? 1 trillion seconds. You want to take a guess, Steve? Want to take a guess on how long? No, get that calculator down. Put it down. Put the calculator down. How long is 1 trillion miles? I'll give you a Bitcoin if you guess it within a day. You're muted. I can't hear you. You're not muted, but I can't hear you.
How long is 1 trillion miles?
No, 1 trillion seconds. How long? How much time is 1 trillion seconds? Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it a year?
Oh, well, I know it's a very, very long time.
It's 31,000 years. Okay. So if you're traveling a mile a second for 31,000 years, you are 1/25th of your way to the closest star. Thank you. Thank you for laughing. And guess what? The other stars are magnitudes farther than that. Polaris, 433 light years away. So it's over 400 times farther, Polaris. And you think that we can see that with our naked eye? We can see it. That's because it's here within the Earth system on the sky. Which
but Dave, the Tibetans will tell you that they just plug in the frequency and the ship ends up there. They don't have to travel.
You know what I say to that? I say, I'm slow on my buttons here. Cool story, bro. Cool story.
And since you're talking about, all these distances, like we're big into kind of exposure and statism and symbolism as well. And apparently Earth is traveling at 66,627 miles per hour. 666, that kind of rings a bell, doesn't it?
It's also tilted at 23.4 degrees off of 90 is 66.6 degrees. Okay. Some people say it's orbiting. No, that's what you said, 66,600. It's like there's so many 666s in there. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Exactly. And speaking of that, because I know that Steve is big into the symbolism and everything, so I'll pass it over to Steve. Thanks, Dave.
Wait, and just before you go, the soul lure system, just remember that. We'll talk about the why. They're trying to steal your soul. Your soul is the currency of our world. And your job here is to maintain control of your soul and honor your soul. Your soul is a spark of, I say, the creator. You can put any word on it you want.
Nice. Divinity. Wow, this is awesome to be with you. I love your style and your energy. And I mean, I'm going to come at you like a fifth grader. Okay.
I hope so. Well, no, fifth graders are very fierce on flat Earth. Now I'm scared. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Did you have to tell a fifth grader the Earth is flat and they will chop your head off?
Well, as Mark Twain always says, I never let my schooling interfere with my education.
There you go.
So, what's funny? It dawned on me, the whole flat Earth thing is that the sun is moving, not the Earth, right? So, and I remember watching sunsets in Thailand, and you could see really far out, and all of a sudden, I'd always be like, the sun's getting there, and then it just disappears, and I'm like, where? Like, it didn't sort of sink; it just disappeared. And
where to go? Yeah, where to go? So we're gonna look at a couple different sunsets here, and it all depends on where you are and your point of view. Like, here's a sunset in Bulgaria. And the air is very dry and there's no real blockage. The sky, the atmospheric deck becomes opaque, but this one is not really making it opaque. And you'll see the sun just keeps on going away. Is this sun, whatever it is, moving, whatever that light is, I'm not saying what it is it moving away? Or are you falling over backwards faster than the speed of sound and the sun staying still? Because if you're on a ball, you have to be falling over backwards to make the sunset. Okay. By the way, I'm offering 100 Bitcoins if anybody can come up with anything dumber than the heliocentric model. Anything. You can name anything.
Germ theory.
No, it's not dumber. I'm sorry. It's not dumber.
Okay.
By the way, I'm completely huggable, available in the app.
I love it. So I'll give you my brief history of flat Earth. I watched, Netflix is a bastion of truth. We all know that.
Oh boy!
And I watched
Edward Bernays, the nephew or whatever, runs Netflix.
Someone related to him, and he's Freud's nephew.
Yeah.
It's like his. I know. And so I watched Behind the Curve, and I don't want to talk about this movie because anything on Netflix I don't trust anyway. But that one thing where they said they put this thing in a vacuum, this gravitometer, and they did some test, and like this mechanism that measures curvature.
So
I remember seeing that and go, okay, well, flat Earth is debunked.
Yeah. So the best proof a glober has that the Earth is flat, the two best proofs are from that movie where flat earthers proved the Earth is a globe. Okay. So I got a problem with that. Okay. So there's two things that happen in the movie. We'll start with the ring laser gyro. They were talking about the gyros hold rigidity in space. This is like a laser gyro. It's beyond my ability to fully understand how it works. And they put it, and it measured about a 15-degree drift. Well, if the Earth was turning, a gyro would drift, okay? But then airplanes wouldn't be able to fly because airplanes use gyros to know where level is. And if they're flying halfway around the world, they'd be upside down because the gyro would keep them upside down. So the whole thing is laughable at best. But so they were, while recording, and they were kind of off camera, and Bob from Globebusters, they're like, yeah, measured a 15-degree drift. He goes, we better not let the Globers have this information or they'll run wild with it, until we understand what it means, because nobody really understood what it means. Because, if I say I've got 50 cents in coins, what do I have? Do I have 2 quarters? Do I have 5 dimes? Do I have 4 dimes, 2 nickels? Do I have 50 pennies? There's a lot of things it could mean. Okay. So they did a follow-up experiment to say, okay, well, let's see, is this drift of the Earth spinning, or is it drift of the ether, the luminescent ether moving? And the way they did that was they took it up to a high altitude, maybe in Denver or wherever, maybe they went to 10,000 feet or whatever. And at that other rotation, if it was Earth elevation, if it was Earth rotating, no matter how high you are on a fixed surface attached to the Earth, it would rotate 15 degrees per hour. But at higher elevations, it rotated at a different speed. That there, beyond a shadow of a doubt, proves that the Earth, it's not the Earth spin that's doing it. And the other one was the laser project. Without getting into all the details, the laser melted before they can do it. They held a light through the hole. The guy couldn't see it. Then they held it up just like 4 feet higher. And the guy goes, oh, I see it. I think it needed to be like 20 feet higher if it was Earth curve that was hiding it. And then Jaron goes, oh, that's interesting. Cut. That's where they cut the film. Then they bring it down. The guy goes, oh, and now I see it. There was trees in between. They didn't realize there's some branches that were moving around. And everybody walked away saying that was inconclusive. If anything, it suggests that there's no curve, but everybody walked away, even the flat earthers, going, no, we're not going to use this as a proof. They edited it, they changed it. The producer of this movie, I'm not going to say anything that's going to get us a strike here. I'm not sure if you're putting this on ScrewTube or not. Is the same producer that was highly funded to do a hit on the Connecticut school event. She did a hit piece against a guy named Wolfgang, who's the guy that wrote the book on school safety. Total hit piece. So this is a paid off propaganda maker who made this film. It's a Netflix deception.
Yeah, I can't watch Netflix, so I pretty much that they say that it's not true means that it's true to me.
Yeah.
So, all right. So in a very simple way, where is Earth in time and space, and who built the dome, and what's it made out of?
Was my cousin built the dome.
Nice. Plexiglass?
No. That was that they used. Great question. I don't know if it's answerable. So here's the thing. I was, I guess, a full-on atheist. Never really labeled myself that. I believed in evolution, the Big Bang, the whole thing. Science is right. I used to be a monkey, but now I'm not. And then I was, exposed to this flat Earth stuff, and I went in to debunk it. And then I realized, okay, it is flat. It's not just the shape. It's like flat means intelligently designed. This is an intelligently designed system. And then I'm like, oh, crap. There's a creator, right? That's where I like to draw the line. I'm in a position where I cannot deny that there's a creator. Okay. Now, the Catholics, the Muslims, the Jews, everyone could start screaming their stories. Great. Have a good time. I'll figure it out myself. Okay. If you want to set an example for me of what your beliefs are and let me, oh, that's interesting. I used to I'd be watching a podcast and whatever it's on, some conspiracy, the pyramids, 9/11, whatever. And as soon as they mentioned the Bible or Jesus, I'm like, tear up my notes. These guys are done. Unsubscribe. They're religious fanatics. But now I'm like, Huh, that's interesting. It's in the Bible too. Like, page 1 of the Bible is God separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament. That's on page 1. What else is in the Bible? Well, there's over 200 verses in the Bible talking about a flat, immovable earth. Okay. The only, but here's the thing. I never lead with the Bible. You don't need it, because for a Bible person, great. That's good for them. But if somebody that doesn't believe in the Bible, then you're wasting your time. Show them the science. And then the tagline is, yeah, it's in the Bible too. Go check it out. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Because you don't need to lead with the Bible. My co-host, Matt Long from Woketown is the name of his YouTube channel. I think I remember that. Because every time I say his channel, I get $1. And he is the Bible guy. He leads with the Bible, which I love it. It's great. We go back and forth and it's amazing. So again, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, well, I've seen you on an interview where you talk about the toroid and the electromagnetic stuff. And that's where you had me, because I think there's something toroidal about everything. And
absolutely. Where, our heart is a toroidal field. That's why they don't want us getting within 6 feet of anybody, because we might interact some energy, and that's really bad.
Yeah.
I believe that we live on a plane inside a toroidal field. What's above us, what's below us, I don't know. It's all fun to speculate, but all we can do is we can talk about what we can physically touch. Saying, hey, I know what planets are. No, I don't. I have a theory. I have an idea. The moon, biggest mystery of all to everybody, but it's provably not a rock reflecting sunlight. Go outside and find like a piece of cement. Oh, the sphere would be great. Okay. A cement sphere, and look at it during the day and ask yourself, does that look like the moon? Is that casting light off so bright that 238,000 miles away, somebody can see it and it's casting shadows on the ground, right? That it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, we see the moon, it lights our way. If you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no lights and the moon is out, you can not even do your lights. You can drive, you can read a book. It's casting shadows on the ground, right? And if you look at
how far I've heard Benuccio say that the planets are 60 miles in the air or something like that.
Well, that's, what? I think they're very close. I think they're just a few miles away.
Because I'm not that well versed in flat Earth. Is the sun generating heat? Is it this ball of
the sun is electric? Think of the sun as electric in nature. You know what? The solar panels are capturing electricity. They're not capturing photons that are poking out boron molecules and creating a current. They're capturing electricity. Put a plant in front of an electric light, put a plant in front of a fireplace. Watch what happens to each of them. One of them will grow, one of them will shrivel up and die. Okay. So the sun is sending electricity here. It's heating everything, right? I don't even know if the sun is hot. Couldn't tell you. And I don't even know if the sun that we see. What's that?
Like a big toaster oven?
Well, it's like if you take a magnifying glass and you focus that point of light and you're not busy burning ants, which I know you did, don't deny it.
Okay? Yeah, I've done it.
So yeah, of course you've done it. And I don't know, how do ants survive? Everyone burns them with magnifying glasses. They should be extinct by now.
I think I pulled their legs off too. I was such a horrible little kid.
Yeah. So go out and do it again. Don't burn the ants though. Focus that light with a magnifying glass and look at it. It looks like a sphere. It looks like a sun. It's amazing. Okay. And then lift that up 6 inches or a foot. It's gone. It's not really gone. It's still there. It's just in the air. I believe that the dome is the lens and the real sun is shining through that lens. And we're seeing the reflection or that focal point relative to our own position. You and I standing outside 50 yards apart, see the sun, the moon, everything in different positions. And just one last thing I was going to say, we sent a balloon up in, I believe it was Arizona, super clear night. We had the cameras pointing up, not down. And before it even took off, we could see all the stars. Amazing, clear night. What's going to happen when it gets to 10,000 feet? It's going to see more stars. It's going to be brighter and brighter, right? As it went up, when it got to like 50, 60, 70,000 feet, all the stars were gone. Do you know what that means? Because I don't. Okay. So we're part of this Earth system. all of those lights we see in the sky are part of us. It's all electric magnetic connections. You know, astrology is the real science. I used to laugh at people that believe in astrology. You are so stupid. How does Mars in retrograde 25 million miles away affect my life in any way, such a form? We can't even affect the tides, right? But then I realized Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, all of those wandering stars, which they renamed recently to planets, are right here within our Earth system, right?
Okay.
I don't know.
Do you believe, all right, well, I'll roll a bunch of stuff into one. So essentially the heliocentric model is the only way to have intergalactic space and aliens, I guess. And, and the flat Earth basically negates the existence of such intergalactic space and aliens.
So one, intergalactic space doesn't exist, right? Because we don't believe in infinite space. Aliens, remember, they're going to come from if they're at Alpha Centauri, how long is it going to take them to get here again? If they could travel,
but they maybe they just space put in the frequency and they're here. Maybe
that cool story again. So to believe in the heliocentric model is just such a fairy tale, ridiculous. You have to believe you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, orbiting 66,000, chasing it at over 500,000 miles an hour while that's moving sideways. Okay. And with, just in this one chasing the sun motion, we move 4.4 billion miles every year. But we look up, Polaris hasn't moved. Go look at the stars tonight, look at them next year, same night, or in 10 years, same night. Stars haven't moved.
What are the planets? Or what is Saturn? Is it a ball in the sky 60 miles up and it's nothing? It's inert?
No. Saturn they're all named after gods. I don't know what they are. There's a lot of worship of these planets and the elite take their alignments.
Does your toroidal theory give any credence that there may be an energetic etheric overlay of Saturn that, like the stars matter or the planets matter to us, they're affecting us energetically?
Absolutely. 100%. You got watch Santos Bonacci. He's the master at this stuff.
Okay.
He's way over my head. But I love, watching his stuff. But if you look at the stars, this is the star Arcturus. Does that look like a burning ball, 100 trillion miles away?
Looks like a meteor on fire.
It looks like something, right? Look at this. This is Capella, I believe. Yeah. Crazy, right? It's got like these geometric patterns in it. Here's Sirius. Looks like it's underwater, right?
Wow.
Here's a whole bunch of stars.
So then the whole thing about the Anunnaki and all that's just complete rubbish.
But hang on, you can lay your, people are like, what about the secret space program? Well, I believe there's a secret propulsion program. And where are they going? Where are all of the largest telescopes in the world? First, they're owned by the Vatican, and they're all in the outer southern lands. They're not looking up into the sky. They're looking south. No matter what direction you point across the plane, you're pointing south. Sounds crazy, right? I'll show you how it's not. South is every direction. Okay, so let me just show you this, and then I'll get to where I'm going. So on the flat Earth, we believe there's a magnetic mountain in the center, a magnetic force coming out of the center of the toroidal field, and all compasses will point. I'm trying to push this compass west. Well, west is not a straight line. I have to keep turning to make sure that compass, that north, is pointing towards the center. West is not that way. That's south. East is not that way. That's south. Right? North is not that well. North is that way. But as soon as if I keep going, I'll be going south. So I'm going to try to go dead west here, and I'm not going to correct to the north. The second I start moving, I'm heading south. Boom, I'm heading south. South is every direction away from the center. Ask a compass, get a magnet, check it out. South is every one of these straight lines is south. Now, if I'm here and I head north, now I'm heading south, right? If I try to go west, south. If I try to go south, I don't magically pop up over here like I should on a ball. I just go south and I never come back.
So are the plates moving? Are there tectonic plates and they are moving?
Nope. Now there might be little rumblings and earthquake stuff, and because of lava tubes, but we're not in a ball, with a lava center. That is ridiculous. The deepest hole ever dug is the Great Borehole in Russia. It's less than 8 miles deep, and they hit an impenetrable barrier that they couldn't get through, right? While they were digging that hole for that first 7.5, 8 miles, they were trying to guess what they're going to hit with their ground penetrating radar, and they were wrong every step of the way. But somehow after hitting this impenetrable barrier, they know what the next 4,000 miles is. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's
I got you.
That's pseudoscience.
So just real, because the time's running, and
Yeah.
I want to ask you, so basically, going back to a simplistic question, the sun is in the center heating things, and the perimeter of this, of the flat earth is cold, and there's an ice cap that sort of is like it forms a bathtub. Is that?
Well, not really. Think of us as a pond in Kansas. Kansas is big. We're just a 10-mile around pond, and Kansas is big. What's out there? There could be more land, more oceans. It would be crazy not to think that there's not more oceans and lands beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, unless it's just frozen ice forever and ever, because the sun, our sun, is here. I believe it's possible that our sun the sun that before our sun migrated outwards, and all of the ancient civilizations migrated out with them. Now that sun is out here, and a new sun is born in the center underneath a star.
Okay, so are there other universes? Are there other flat Earths?
So I don't know, but across this plane, there could be other puddles. There could be a trillion other puddles. There could be 2 other puddles. There could be rings around us. There could be, it could just be peppered all over the place. That makes a lot of sense to me. But again, anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, because of the Antarctic Treaty, no one's allowed to explore. You're not even allowed to bring fuel beyond 60 degrees south.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
What's
so the
out
last
here?
question I'll ask, because of time.
Hold on. We have
right.
we have a few minutes. We have a little time. Are you guys running out of time?
Well, you said you had a hard stop in a half hour about.
Did I say that? Is time flying that fast, huh?
Yeah.
I have a hard stop. No, I have another hour. I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. We don't have to go another hour, but I have time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So let's talk about seasons, how the sun moves, and maybe this will really help you. And I'm going to show my app. I don't know if you guys have probably seen it, but it's always good to look at it again. So you can see that. Can you see my app?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. This is our pond. The shoreline of our pond is out here. Okay. This is the shoreline of Antarctica. What's out here? I don't know. Okay. So our sun goes around once every 24 hours. Our sun is the hour hand. Wherever the sun is, it's noon there. So right now it's like noon in Alaska. It's noon, it's going around. But the inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. The outer yellow line is the Tropic of Capricorn. And the red line in the middle is the equator. Right now, the sun is migrating out. It goes 6 months out and 6 months back in. And it's approaching the equator. Come September 21st, it'll be right over that red line. And that's why we call it the equinox, because it's equal. It's halfway out on its journey, right? If I jump forward to October, November, December, it's over the Tropic of Capricorn, and the Central America, Southern Africa, Australia is having their summer, because think about it. The sun's over your head. It's close to you. It's over your head. It's high. It's over your head. And that's where you get the warmth. 6 months later, right now it's winter in the north. Look how far it is from the north. It's summer in Australia. But if I jump forward 6 months, it's over. Now it's winter in the outer lands and summer in the inner lands. Okay. Australia, the sun is farther away. Just a simple analogy, an experiment you can do at home. 2 people go outside when it's really cold out, snowing, whatever, and sit down 15 feet apart, 20 feet apart, whatever, and get somebody with a big, awesome heat lamp and hold it over one of your heads, 10 feet over your head. That's your summer sun. It's high in the sky. It's close. It's warming you. And the other person that sees that, it's lower in the sky to them. It's way over there. It's lower, and they could barely feel the heat. That's your winter sun. And the sun migrates in and out. And that's how seasons work. Because if you really start getting into it and looking at seasons on the seasons on the ball, it makes no sense, because it would be arctically freezing at sunrise every day if the tilt model was real.
Is there something mechanical to the sun?
Mechanical, I think that the sun that we see is just a reflection. I don't know what the real source of the sun is. Maybe it's God. I don't know. I have no idea. It's a focused point of energy here. Everything relies on the sun. The sun gives us all of the energy. We're electrical beings. Plants are electrical. Everything's electrical. I actually think every single material on this earth, including rocks, were once alive. All right.
Yeah.
So just real quick while we're in the app, I want to show you a new feature that's coming out. There's nothing better than finding other like-minded people like yourself. So the app has tons of features, from images. It's just loading because I just loaded the app, where you can look at, like, hey, did we go to the moon? Yeah, we went in this thing. Okay.
With Reynolds wrap.
Yeah, Reynolds wrap, cellophane, curtain rods, right? So
I also, with the moon, I thought, how did they put their space suits on inside that little tiny?
And everyone's saying, wait until 2024, we're going back to the moon. Well, they just canceled that because they don't have spacesuits yet.
But wait, so actually, I forgot about this question. Then what was Apollo 13 a total psyop? And
total psyop, the whole thing. No one's ever gone anywhere in a rocket. Nobody.
Yeah, but
is
so
ever
was everyone at Houston Control were they acting? Oh,
no, because there was an interview of a mission control person, and they said they practice in simulations so many times that when the real thing happened, they couldn't tell the difference. Because there was no difference. They're just being fed data from a remote server, and they're following dots on screens, and they're I heard a ping. We got a photon, nonsense. But let me show you this real quick. This is coming. It's not out yet, or the development's taking a little longer than I wanted. But if you click the handshake, up comes a map of the world and all of these blue dots. I only have like 10 or 15 testers on here. These are people that are other flat earthers. So if I click one of them, I can look, there's Karen B, and I could send her a message. I can tap on the message and send her a message. That way you can find flat earthers near you. Here's three in Europe. New one popped up, new testers. But this is only like a dozen or 24 dots on here.
Yeah.
When this goes live, there's going to be 100,000 dots on here.
That's crazy.
Okay. Man. It's going to be crazy. But it's a good way to find like-minded people. You're at the beach one day and you say, hey, there's other flat earther here. Hey, I'm going over to the Tiki Bar. Meet me. I'm the guy with the gray hat.
Swipe right.
Yeah. Great, super fun thing to
That's
look
awesome.
At. All right.
The last question I have, because, we don't want it to go crazy because then people, so I want to pass it to Chris. It doesn't matter what you believe, but I've heard that the dome has these windows and there's water outside the dome, and that there was the Great Flood. They opened the windows, and mentally I can get it, but it seems slightly like, so there's like sliding windows that hold all this water in. And
well, that's because you're thinking three-dimensionally and not with, the dimensions of the sky. I believe that the heavens that are above us, whatever they are right there. They're where the clouds are. It's close.
My gosh.
So ask yourself this: when does it rain heavy? When does it rain heavy? What kind of pressure system?
In Asia, it's usually there's seasons. Like there's
when you have a downpour, what causes a downpour? What kind of pressure? High pressure or low pressure?
I forget.
Low pressure brings storms in. So a hurricane is really low pressure. And if you've ever been in a hurricane, water pours out of the sky, low pressure. So I view it that we're in this high pressure system. That high pressure is holding the waters above out. Okay. So if you've been in a hurricane, there's so much water comes out of the sky. You look at floods, like, how is that trillions of tons of water floating in the sky? I could fly an airplane right through it and the windows barely get wet. Yes, clouds do hold moisture, but not this kind of moisture. That's coming from somewhere else. And the low pressure is letting it come into our three-dimensional world. That's my belief. I believe that space is water. and there's water below us and water above us. If you look at a bubble in a pot that you're boiling water, zoom in on that bubble. Well, there's a flat surface. If you're in the middle of that bubble, there's a dome over your head. It's not physical. And that high pressure is holding the water out. If you lowered the pressure, the water would come in.
Okay. I mean, the last thing I'll say quickly before I'll pass you to Chris. Like in a very simple, I think about the dome, being somehow mechanically attached to the ground. And, so, I mean, these things are, if you think like that, it's kind of like, okay, but I'm not saying Brian Cox supports the sphere theory. So basically I say there's no way it's true.
Lying box.
Yeah. And NASA stands for never a straight answer, but this is a good point to give you to Chris.
Here, I'll answer your question, then we'll go with Chris. This dome doesn't look like this. This dome is so friggin' high. This is thousands and thousands of miles up in the sky. I believe if you watch the show Globebusters, I recommend everybody. There's a Wednesday night show and a Sunday show, and then you can just watch it on, after it's recorded. They did a show just the other day or recently talking about, I think it was just yesterday, and that when we shoot rockets up and shoot things up, they only go 62 miles. Something's up there at 62 miles. So if the dome is 62 miles above us, it would be so close down here. You'd barely be able to see it, on this scale. It would almost be touching on this scale. So I kind of think that the sky that we see is flat, and it's whatever it is, it's turning. And the fixed stars are fixed all at the same distance within that layer. And then the wandering stars, the planets, they're moving on their own layer. And the thing is, they repeat. We know exactly where they're going to be always. Well, the best supercomputers in the world can't predict 3 bodies. They're going to pick 2 bodies. You can make a simulation. You got things going in orbits, add 1 more body, and the entire thing goes into chaos mode. Well, how does the solar system repeat? How do eclipses repeat every 18 years? How do the moon cycles repeat? None of it makes any sense, because just a little tug from one alignment on our moon or anything, everything would change, but it never changes. Did you know the eclipses repeat every 18 years? The same cycles. It's crazy. So is it mechanical? Well, that's the best word that I can come up with. I think it is. They are fixed in their positions.
Well, thanks for your time. I'll give you to Chris, and I have a lot of questions, but look forward to hearing what you guys chat about.
Cheers, Steve. Hi, Dave.
Hey.
First one I want to come at is, a lot of people, including myself, have said in the past, doesn't matter if it's a globe, a flat earth, a triangle, we'll say, what significance does it really have in our life? So I'm always kind of enthusiastic as to, I do massive research in so much things that with the bloodlines, the Illuminati, New World Order, all that for years and years and years, but I never really went down the actual flat earth route itself. I guess I found it wasn't so significant, or to something I was going to pause for a moment and get on to a later stage. It was always there onto the do stage, but at a later stage. So my question kind of would be on it, from what I know of flat earth was, out in the open a long, long time ago. It was out in the open, and that was it. Then all of a sudden globalization comes around the place. It all gets enclosed all of a sudden. And then now it's one of the most controversial topics that they don't want you knowing about whatsoever. Yeah. So why is it, I suppose, so bloody controversial? That why does it matter to these elites? And now more than ever in the day we're in today, 2021, globalization is
So let me answer that. And the thing is, do you know how long the globe lie has been around?
Not a particular date, no.
It's less than 100 years. You guys have to watch my interview with Ruth. I'll send you an email with a link in this. I was interviewing her about the World's Fairs because she had been to them as a child, and she had such a great memory. I asked her, what did they teach her about the Earth in elementary school? And she said, they taught me the Earth was flat. I had never mentioned flat Earth to her. And we found other people in other countries that said in the 1930s, she's in the 1920s, they were teaching flat Earth. And we found newspaper articles from the New York Journal, that's the New York Times now, talk about teachers being persecuted for trying to teach heliocentrism in public schools, not even religious schools. Okay. So this entire thing, then they hit us with the wars and depression and all sorts of stuff, basically to scatter us. There was a reset, great reset, fascinating, right? In 1920, okay? Great reset in 1920, right? There was also another reset in 1820 where they had cholera, and 1720 they had the plague, right? 1920 was Spanish flu. Everybody's wearing face diapers and getting the thing in their arm, and there was a great reset. So what's going on? One thing history teaches us is that people don't learn from history. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So why when someone says why does it matter, this is the most important secret that the elite have. Everything revolves around this, because if you could live in fear, shortage, right? Kim Jong-un is going to blow us up with nuclear bombs that don't exist. We're running out of water, which is impossible because there's infinite water. We're running out of food. That's impossible because the entire world could live in Texas with plenty of room. Okay, we're running out of climate change. That climate changes. It's what they're doing in the skies, whatever it is. That's the real issue. They're controlling us, and the way they control us is because your mind, as I was talking about in the beginning, isn't expanding. It's being stifled. It's being shut in a ball, and then it's also being put in fear, which makes it smaller, and then it's also being fluoridated, which makes it not work. Okay, and then it's also being poisoned all these other ways where you aren't able to function and attend, and become your true self. Okay, this is the most important thing of our time. Dave, with all the craziness in the world, why are you talking about flat earth? Because this is how they imprison us. They start with our mind. They imprison us two ways. One, in our mind, okay? So they imprison us in this fear enclosed, it's allegory of the cave, the movie where the people are in the box and they only see the shadows and they don't know there's any world outside there. That's how they have us. They have us going, what difference does it make? I'm here. If you lived in an apartment building that didn't have any windows or doors and you were told this is the whole world, well, what difference does it make? You might as well just stay in there. That's ridiculous. Okay. And then the other thing, they control us physically with their monetary system. We're playing on their monopoly board. Okay. The elite of this world control the money, right? Money's fake. We're playing on their monopoly board. You guys play Monopoly, right? Go read the directions on Monopoly. It says when the bank runs out of money, you know what you're supposed to do? Just get pieces of paper and write more money on it. Okay. We're playing on their monopoly board. We need to wake up, put on your big boy pants, figure out who you are, where you are, what this place is, tell everybody else, maintain control of your soul, and stop playing Monopoly with them. We need to get over into privacy cryptocurrencies, not their cryptocurrencies, because they're going to try to put us in a centralized cryptocurrency that's worse than their fiat dollar system. We need to go into private cryptocurrencies. If you don't understand what that is, tune into Jaronism's crypto class every Friday night. Check it out. Okay. Learn about this because this is coming. There's two ways it can go. If everyone goes, oh, we're going to go with the government crypto, we're slaves for 1,000 years. Or we go to privacy cryptocurrency and all of those bankers, all of those elites just disappear. They just vanish because they no longer matter and they no longer have control over us. So why does it matter? That's why it matters.
Fair enough. So the earth itself, you're saying that is actually flat. Do you believe it's flat or it's slightly oval sort of shape? And there's actually, I believe that you mentioned Santos Bonacci earlier. He believes that there's about 7 layers that actually goes down underneath it.
Well, and his layers are all flat. You have different heavens and different densities and stuff. Great story. I buy it. If you said, hey, we're going to reveal the truth, is Santos right? I'd say he's 90% right. That's what I would go with. Okay. I don't know, but you have to believe, this is what the heliocentric model says. You're orbiting at 66,000 miles around. Okay. How fast is 66,000 miles an hour? So here is the hypersonic rocket sled. Watch, it's going to come by at Mach 8.6. Ready? Watch it. Did you see it? Okay. Show you again. Mach 8.6. We are orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that. Okay. Speeding up and slowing down every year. 10 times faster than that. We're chasing the sun 90 times faster than that. Okay. What happens if you're in a car on a straight road and you have a dinner plate and you fill it with water to the brim? might be doing okay if the car's really well made, you're going straight. But as soon as that car starts turning or speeds up and slows down, that water's gone. But we have lakes that are like this. We have lakes that are mirrors. We're going 10 times faster than that rocket sled in one direction, curving, and 90 times in another direction. And I'm ignoring the fourth direction. But we have lakes that look like this. Come on.
So I know you mentioned Santos as well. I've been watching a lot of his stuff lately. Well, I got into Santos years ago through the common law stuff. He's in Australia, but only more recently with the actual flat earth stuff, I started tuning in a small bit to him. And he also mentions every couple of minutes nearly, he mentions Copernicus theory, the Nicholas Copernicus theory, that everybody needs to go watch this and look at this. And it's so much stuff is based. So he kept making a massive reference to that all the time. How significant is that from your research as well?
So if these guys were real, whether they're real or not, they're all Freemasons. Okay. This is a story, his story. Okay. I don't believe anything they tell us before the 1890s, early 1900s is real. I think there was a massive reset. They tell us like 60 million people died from the Spanish flu. I think it was way more than that. I think it could be 10 times more. I don't know how many people are around, but I think it was a massive reset of the population. If you start looking into Tartaria and all this stuff, our transatlantic railroad wasn't built. It was excavated out of the mud. Okay. It was here from a previous civilization. You go look at the buildings in Prague and the clock in Prague, advanced civilizations, giants, nothing like they tell us. This place is nothing like they tell us. Tune into Flat Earth British with Martin Leakey. He goes into this stuff. John Levy, Jonlevi. He does 20-minute videos every week. Amazing. And you'll never first, when I go outside, besides the zombie apocalypse that's going on, it freaks me out. But if I go for a walk in the woods, everything I see is with new eyes. It's like, those aren't rocks, those are trees. It's like, it's incredible what you can see once your eyes are open. But they get us to go to school, preschool, and then kindergarten, and then first grade. These are the formative years of your life where they are indoctrinating you with nonsense. The first worksheet a kid brings home is the sun and the moon and the earth and who goes around what and what goes around what, right? That's like one of the first worksheets you bring home, right? As I said earlier, try telling a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old that the earth is flat. Chop your head off, because they're so far indoctrinated. It's ridiculous. Did you guys ever look at the plane routes? Did we do that? Go ahead. Sorry, Chris. Next question.
Yeah, I was saying basically since you actually got into it, I believe in the last couple of years, is it 2015? Am I right in saying that? Or was it before that you got into flat earth? Is it long before
about 2015?
That? Yeah.
2015. Yeah, I laughed at it before that.
And you briefly mentioned the kind of background on that itself. And you mentioned, sort of divide between family and friends, you lose some, but you also gain a whole new family as well. How was that for you in a personal experience? Was it good, bad, indifferent? Because I know I can personally speak myself, not got to do with flat earth, but in the last year and a half, I won't say you've lost a lot of people, but you've kind of opened your eyes to what you thought people's intelligence or IQ was, and it's seriously, massively dropped. But you gained a whole new family, especially through podcasting and connecting with people around the world. So how was your story on that?
To say it's a good or bad, you can look at it both ways. It's really good and it's really bad at the same time. So, the story about the monk who won the ticket. He won the new Beamer and it was like, you're so lucky. He's like, I am. He goes, maybe. And then he was driving the Beamer and he fell off a cliff and, he broke his leg. He's in the hospital and they're like, oh my God, you're so unlucky. He goes, well, maybe. While he was in the hospital, there was a mudslide. His entire town got buried and everybody died. And they're like, oh my God, you're so lucky. And he's like, well, maybe. And the story goes on and on and on and on. So I just take this journey, like my brother and sister, we've never discussed flat earth. We've never discussed politics. We've never discussed the Rona. We've never discussed anything, because if we do, it's going to just go really bad. My mother passed away during this Rona thing by herself, okay, because of insanity. And I haven't spoken with my brother and sister in almost a year since the day she died. It's horrible, but it is what it is. I'd rather not fight with them, so we don't really talk. Some of my best friends, they can't handle the truth. They think the thing that happened in New York was real. Okay. I can't really talk to them. So that's okay. They're having their journey. I don't hate anybody. And I've gained new friends. We're having a conference in South Carolina in October called Flattoberfest. And if anybody is in that area and can come, I'm driving 13 hours to get there. It's called flatearthfestivals.com. It's also linked in my app. Check that out. Again, there'll be hundreds and hundreds of like-minded people. Every single person that you'll see there, you have more in common with than anybody you could possibly meet at a party or in a bar or anything. Already, it's like you have so much in common. It's unreal how amazing it is, to have people like that. That's why I made the Flat Earth Friend Finder on the app, because that's going to bring, that's going to bring so many people together.
Was there something you were going to show us just before I had a question before that you wanted to get onto?
No, what was I was going to talk about plane flights. Just that's as another proof of the Earth. So this is how they tell us a plane flight goes from Mexico City to Tokyo. Well, this is how it actually goes, but this is how they tell us it goes. It actually goes right over Alaska. Okay. And there's so many flights go over Alaska because Alaska is right in the middle of the flat Earth. If you want to go from Santiago to Australia, this is the route that they take. It's crazy. But if you want to go to Western Australia, it goes all the way up, goes all the way over here, and then all the way down. And if you look at that on a flat Earth map, it goes all the way up across over here, the Far East, Singapore, and to Western Australia. It's a straight line. That's why they're showing it going this way. There's so many other plane routes that prove the Earth is flat. Here's the thing: NASA is in control of GPS, radar, and all international and long distance flight routes. Right? NASA, the liars at NASA, which we know they're liars. So they're the one. Sometimes there's an emergency, and there has to be they have to land. The plane has to land, and they land in the most obscure places. As I'm trying to find one of the maps. There's a flight from Taiwan to, where was it to? Taiwan to California, I think, to LA. Yeah, Taiwan to LA. And during the middle of the flight, there was an emergency. They needed to land immediately. And they were right, according to the flight path, right over, here it is. I think here it is. They were right over, here it is. So Taiwan to LA, they were right here. Could have landed in Hawaii, could have kept going. But instead, they went way out of the way, hundreds, if not 1,000 miles or more out of the way to Alaska. This is the route that they told you they were going, but this was the actual route. Taiwan, emergency, Alaska. Hawaii is all the way out here. Okay. There's over 100, not over 100. There's 16, now 17 documented emergency landings that prove the flat Earth. Every single one of them, they landed in some crazy place if you're looking at the globe. But if you drew a line from the origin to the destination, they landed right along that line somewhere.
How many pilots do you reckon actually know this?
I'd say half of them at this point, half, because we talked to many pilots, but the pilots, they talk about it amongst themselves, but they can't talk about it publicly because they have to keep their jobs. We interviewed on Globebusters, again, a KLM pilot, a female, tons of experience. She was telling me how Earth is flat, how they film the moon when they're going on these trips, and film the sun, and how gyros work, everything. Next day, boom, grounded. Then she disappeared. Okay. We've had pilots that have been doing lectures around the world, but you don't see this stuff. Again, in the app, under the frequently asked questions, what about pilots and scientists? All the videos are there. You try to search for that stuff. Pilot says Earth is flat. You're going to get all of their PSYOP videos, all of their propaganda videos, PSYOP Man Dan and Not Professor Dave and Bill Nye, the Lying Guy. All of these propaganda videos. You can even search some of our videos by name and channel name, and you'll still get all of those videos. Okay. Why are they pushing those videos? Because those are for weak minds. Those are for people not willing to do the work. Here's the problem. I heard you guys before the show, you guys seem to be awake to this issue, right? right? Okay. And the reason you're awake to this issue is because you're using your mind, you're thinking, right? Other people, their research is 10 minutes of watching the news. Okay, that's my programming. Television programming. They're not doing any research. They're not fact checker said this, must be true. Fact checker said this isn't true, must be true. It's unreal what's going on. Those people don't even know that there's censorship happening right now. Don't even know that you can't, like Mike Adams, God bless him. I have issues with some of the stuff. He's like a baller. He can't see flat earth, but that's okay. He's really good at some of the other stuff he does. He started a platform called Brighteon, like just like YouTube, tons of stuff. You can't post a Brighteon video about a cat, okay, on YouTube. It's like we don't allow anything from this. Like, he's got some really hard hitting stuff on there, right? So people don't even know that there's censorship going on. This is the shutting down of our minds. And I don't know what's going to happen this fall, next year, next 3 years. I think the world could be a very, very different place. If you guys know what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean. And that's leading into another massive long story. Yeah. But with the time we've left, I know Steve is anxious to get back into questions, but I'll give you over to Grace because I know she wants to get in with some of her questions. But yeah, no, thanks for that, Dave.
Sure.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for being with us and for everything that you do. I just really know about flat Earth this year, so it's a lot of, in curiosity on my part, and I just want to keep listening to many more. So and thanks for Roy introducing that. Oh, he had you. So I said, yeah, let's have Dave now.
Good.
And since you had Ruth, and you mentioned about when during that time that they were teaching flat Earth, and Roy also shared that when he asked that his son, 7, believes that Earth is flat. So I wanted to know in terms of the kids, right? Because I have 2 little grandchildren, and I do want them to be critical thinkers. So
right. So that you don't tell them the Earth is flat. Show them, hey, some people think this. Just try not to laugh when you show the heliocentric model. And some people think this. What do you think? Right. And teach them to have their own opinions and to do the research. Come out as they get older and do experiments. Like according to math, according to the curvature formula, I shouldn't be able to see the surface of the water, let alone beyond 3 miles, but 15 miles away, 20 miles away. I can. What's going on there? So once you said if you search for any of this stuff online, you're going to get propaganda. Your mind's going to get tired. You're going to get all of this garbage. They're loading up 20, 50, 100 videos every day or every hour. Just crap. Just basically they're polluting the punch bowl. Okay. They're literally filling it with turds and fruit anymore. So that's what the app does. And what I tell people is, like yourself, just every day, watch the daily video. Every day there's a new video. Just watch the daily video a day. And then if you got more time, watch what comes. I sent you, Dave, how does the sun set on flat Earth? And I sent you a video on it. The next video that pops up is going to be an anti-flat Earth video. Because they're going to serve you. If you watch it in the app will serve you good video after good video after good video. And there's endless information there. We're adding more every single day.
And will this be also appropriate for kids, or are you going to, is your app also good for children?
That is, so yes and no. I can't guarantee. I'll have tons of curse words in it. Maybe occasionally a curse word comes in. So could a curse word get in? Maybe. They are good for kids. There's tons of videos in there that are good. I'm adding a button. I have a button. It's called Conspiracy Music Guru. Great for kids. Check out that button. Okay. Great songs. It's even great for adults. He does these music videos, so much information, and basically make you laugh and you can't stop singing the song. So we're also adding a button just like videos for kids. Make sure there's no curse words. Make sure it's kid friendly. There's all sorts of stuff happening with that. There's kids' books in the book section on the app. So you can find books, and we're adding more and more all the time. So yeah, like, is this interview kid friendly? I think it is, but there's other interviews on where the language is much more loose. So I try to put warnings on anything that has language. So.
Oh, okay. But thank you. That's good to know. Now, I've heard you emphasize that because of learning this, and then because of you've done your research, that your life has changed much in terms of your happiness. And then you also emphasize that, it's your change of perception. Now, what would that be for those also? I believe that there are also other people who they're not, they don't know about this, but they look happy to me. They look successful to me. So
you mean people that think the Earth is a globe and are happy and successful?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there are people that are doing very well in this world. I was one of them. I had my own business, making lots of money. Had good amount of free time, but life, I make less money now, and life is so much better. It's fantastic because when you see the world for what it is, this creation, when you understand who you are, life is so much lighter and fascinating. I have not been bored for 1 second. If I get insomnia, I'm happy. I got 5 hours. If I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, I got 5 hours before I have to talk to anybody. This is phenomenal, right? Not that it happens very much, but life is interesting. Conversations isn't just about sports and weather and politics, right? What do people talk about? Sports, weather, and politics, okay? And golf, okay? It's boring. There's so much more to this world and what it was, and discovering and creating our new world. Life, I can't find enough time in the day. I said, God, I need more time. I don't have enough time. And then God gave me insomnia, where I needed like 5 hours less sleep. So now I got 5 hours more every day. And then I said, I can't keep up with all of the research, all the videos that I need to watch. And then God showed me that there's a double speed button. So now I could watch videos at twice the speed. So now that 5 hours turned into 10 hours. So now I can research for 18 hours a day. Okay.
Well, I'm with you with
times
that.
2. So 36 hours of, whatever. My point is, sure, you could be happy, but you're missing out a lot. You're missing out on what this true creation is. I think that we need to be here and honor this life and really make the most of it. And once you understand that, that's, what is happiness? I used to think it was money and possessions. I think it's freedom. Well, maybe people aren't so happy right now. There is freedom and loving other people and experience this world and experiencing nature and growing food. I mean, it's amazing. I saw a meme the other day. I used to be really hip, but now I'm taking pictures of my vegetables in the garden, right? So I don't know. The world is an amazing place. And I think that, happiness is all relative.
And I'm with you with that. I think we're all with you that the world is amazing. And what really makes us happy recently is to be able to talk about things that are out of the ordinary. And that actually gives me excitement. And talking about sleep, yeah, I was busy listening to you while I'm organizing. So I only had 2 hours sleep because, and
well, yeah,
and
there's lots of audio stuff. Yeah. No, I was going to say there's lots of audio. Like whenever I'm doing something, that's mindless, whether if I was mowing the lawn or on a drive or whatever, it's never silent. It's like I'm always listening, learning stuff, talking to somebody. Not that you need to do that all the time because some silence is very healthy, but it's good to, not have an idle mind when it doesn't need to be idle.
So what I did is when I couldn't fall back to sleep, so I said, let me go out and look at the sky, and since I don't live near the shore, so because it's easy for me to see that it's flat when I'm standing at the shore, right? It's just flat. But then when I look up, right, it's like, oh, it doesn't look flat. No matter how I look at it, it's still so. But I'm understanding it? There's still some kind of a dome there, right? And that's all the part of that space.
Well, it has to do with the way our eyes work and how we see. So when you look into the distance, we see the same distance in all directions, right? You with me there?
Mhm.
So if I'm standing at the center of a circle, my vision creates a circle around me. Where did my video go on that? So here it is. So I'm standing here, and this is the limit of my vision, right? So I can see the same distance in all directions. Well, the limit of your vision works in all directions. So if we make this three-dimensional, right? As the sun just travels across, it appears to get closer and higher and lower. So we see in this sphere, that's how our eyes work, right? You see that?
Mhm.
So here's how, let me just show you this. This is, this chain is getting smaller. Why? Because it's going away. It's going away. It's getting smaller due to perspective, right? So people say, well, if the earth is flat, the sun should get smaller as it goes away, right? So we're looking at these lines. See these lines here? They kind of look like they're going down, but these lines are all really parallel, but it's the way our eyes work. These lines look like they're tilted down, okay? So as the sun goes away, it's really going straight away, but it's going to look like it's going down. And so from this guy's point of view, he's got his back to us. When the sun starts going, it starts going, looks like it's going down. It's just literally going away.
Okay.
This is a level line. These lines are all level, just like I showed you. Okay. So we take a train car, we put it all the way up there. It's already small. So as it goes away, it doesn't really get much smaller. Okay. This is without any atmospheric magnification. So here we have a wiffle ball, and 6 feet away, we have another wiffle ball of the same size, but it looks smaller. You with me?
Mhm.
It looks smaller. So if I move my camera down the track, that one will get bigger, and I turn around and this one will be smaller. But this one is already far away. So if I lift this, excuse me, if I lift the camera up, I'm not getting any closer. This one becomes almost the same size as this one,
Mhm.
right? Because it's already far away. And if I rolled this one down the track, it would stay the same size. Well, flip that upside down. That's the sun just going away, going down. Okay. And that's, I forget the name of the effect, but when it's already far away, it's already shrank. And as it goes away, it just appears to go down. And that's how that works.
So the way we look at it influences also how we perceive it.
Absolutely. And you know, again, let me just show you one more, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up. We have a final question.
Mhm.
Did I show you my flat earth kitchen model? Right, Roy? I don't think so. So here is this line. It's level. I proved that it's level, and I'm moving the sun along it, and we're watching this from an elevated, from a celestial point of view, right? Now, this here could be a land obstruction, mountains, or just atmospheric clouds, but the sun is above it. So now I have a camera on the other end on the counter looking at the same thing we just saw from a terrestrial point of view. And if I showed you this first, I said, is this line level? And you'd be like, no, it's going down. And I'm like, is the sun going below this mountain or this cloud deck? And you'd be like, yes. Well, it's not. It's just perception. And I'm going to zoom in. Look at the line now. It's almost going straight down. If I told you this line was level, you would say, no, it's not. And this line right here, whether it's 10,000 feet in the air or the cloud deck or hills or treetops, it all gets compressed into the horizon. So here it is. Here's a real sunset. Look, this is the atmospheric deck of opacity right here. And the sun is just going beyond it, just like it's going beyond here. The level sun is going beyond. And then I'm zoomed in on this. If I zoomed out, the space between where the sun appears to be setting and the apparent horizon literally gets compressed together and you can't even see it. That's how the sun appears to set. It's just going beyond the limit of your vision.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is my last question. What do you have any thoughts or a message for those who have experienced like near death, and then they shared when they came back again, right? And they shared that they've been out there, that they saw things. So
yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. It's your, you could have a near-death experience, and your worldview is going to shape the way you explain these things. If I brought a flat earther and someone's never heard of flat earth, it's a globie, up to, let's say we can get up to 300,000 feet and they'd look down, the globe, would see a ball and the other person would go, no, that's a flat circle I'm looking at. Okay. Because you can't tell whether it's a ball or not. You can just see a shape and you assume many things. So, as I talk, some of these are flat, some of these are balls, right? But you can't tell just by looking at it. So if you believe the earth is a globe, you might use globe words to describe your experience.
Okay.
So again, it's very similar. Like, let's say the next pond over, we call that the Mars pond, and the next one is the Saturn pond. Okay. And maybe Mars is the sun over there and Venus is the moon over there. Venus has phases like our moon. So to your question is, those experiences are being explained through their eyes, through their worldview.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions before I wrap it up?
No, I'm
So-
good.
So my app is $2.99. Oh, that's why he's doing it. No, I gave up a lot of money for this. The app is $2.99. Just go read the reviews. Don't believe me. Go read the reviews in the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, highest rated app in the store. Everybody loves it. And when they come out with this friend finder thing, it's going to be a game changer. It's going to bring people together. Amazing. Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay. There's a knockoff out there by the Flat Earth Society. It's by the Ron Media Group. That is not me. Don't send me an email telling me my app stinks. It's not my app. It's a controlled disinformation app. So check that out. All the links. If you can't find it, you can just go to my website. Very easy. I have different domains that'll take you there, but flatearthdave.com. flatearthdave.com. You can find my podcast. You can find my channel. You can find app. You can find all sorts of stuff. And the final word I have is, don't let them change your mind. Don't let them control your mind with cartoons, because that's what they're doing. Everything you know about space was told to you by somebody, maybe a guy wearing a bow tie, and they showed you cartoons. Thanks.
And I would
Hey, thank
highly
you very much.
recommend the app. I've since I've had you on the show, I have the app. It's fantastic. And as you say, $3. I mean, you wouldn't be able to buy a coffee for it. And the videos are incredible. I've got fantastic knowledge from it.
Thanks.
So I would highly.
And just when
encourage
you're
people to
explaining
actually
flat
go.
Earth to somebody, you can show them the visual, the sun going around and the seasons and whatnot. There is a pop-up that says, would you like to subscribe for 99 cents? You do not need to. You can exit out. There's no commercials. There's no wait time. Exit out. And only shows up once a day. Okay. But if you want to support me further, feel free, but don't feel like you have to do it. Get the app and don't subscribe unless you grab that app first thing every day before you pee and watch the video. Okay. Then you have to subscribe. Because if I find out that you're peeing after you watch the video, okay, I'm coming for you. All right. I do have to go because I think I'm late, but it happens.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Thanks very
Thanks,
much.
guys.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Thank you.
Cheers.
All right. See you. Thanks. Bye-bye.